2002 Honda Odyssey transmission removal. I disconnected the battery. I'm going to remove the battery completely because I have to remove the battery tray. I took the air duct out, air cleaner. I might remove this box so I can gain access to the bell housing bolts. Alright, I separated this, took ABS wire loose from the body, disconnected or separated that, and I took the ball joint, not loose because I had to separate, I had to drop the subframe. This whole subframe needs to come down, so it means I have to separate the exhaust here and up there, disconnect the oxygen sensor or take it out of the exhaust. I'll probably just turn it out of the exhaust. And there's another connection up there I have to take out. I have to remove all this plastic pieces so I can drop the subframe. I'm gonna unbolt the steering rack and the engine mounts there and there, so stuff can just hang on the car. I see the bushing's torn out, so I'm going to replace that before I put everything back together. They're not that expensive and not hard to put in. I'm going to do both sides. Took the axle nut out because I have to have the control arm pulled down. I'm going to pull this off to the side so I can yank the axles out of the transmission, which out in there is bolted to the side of the engine too. So I have to remove all those bolts so I can get that axle out. After the exhaust is out of the way, it'll be easier for me to get those bolts out, so the exhaust is going to be removed before I take the axle out. And the battery tray, some of the bolts I have to access from underneath here. There's like 4 bolts that hold the battery tray in. Okay, I have the exhaust removed. There's some of the other bolts I have to take out so I can pull the axle out. I have to take this here stuff off so I can disconnect the cable. There's 4 bolts I'm going to have to take out so the engine mount's loose. And there's a bolt. And there, I think they're the ones that hold the rack in, so I can let the rack hang. But that engine mount goes over top the rack, so I had to disconnect that off the subframe since the subframe has to come down. And got the ball joint separated there, both sides, and the links. Now the plastic shield down. Here's bolts. I'm going to have to remove this, take that out, so the subframe can come down. Okay, I removed that cover. There's a bolt in here I take out. You have to release the little metal tab, bend the ears back so you can take the bolt out, and then this slides off. Keep that out of the way. This plate needs to be removed so I can get the torque converter bolts out. See? one torque converter bolt I took out, covers removed. There's the drain. I'm going to drain the transmission before I remove it so I don't make a mess. Put the battery tray out of the way. I was bolted here, there, right there's a bolt, and there's another one right back here. Got the two lower ones from underneath. Got the battery tray out of the way. That way I can get the alternator or the starter correct easily and disconnect all my lines. I got the starter off. I'm just laying the bolts up here. Took the transmission lines off. Just tucked them up off this side. Disconnecting the electrical plugs. Put the wire harness out of the way. There's a bell bolt. There's a bell bolt. I think there's another one or two back there. Let's take them out. I'm on pause. Got them out. Now this axle will slide out of the transaxle after I pull it out of here. But this is all stuff is loose now. This I'll just have the other axle I'll just have to pop out and pull that one out. I'm taking the bell bolts off. Took this bolt out so this bracket stuff's off. There's a bell bolt. These are loose. Starter's out. Took the bolts out. These little brackets here, I loosened them. Bracket over here. Took the bolt out of there. And out of there. Had to go down through there to get it out. And there was another bolt here. With metal brackets. One metal bracket through the floor back there. This metal bracket's still up there. Whoops, there it goes. I have it supported with a 2x4 or a landscaping timber actually, holding the engine up. Alright, I'm getting ready to put the salvage transmission in. I want to check for those. You see I have them already in the engine block. So either I have to pull them out of the engine block or pull them out of the transmission. Or it's not going to go together so good. I used a piece of wood there to hold the engine while I took the transmission out. I do not suggest to do it this way. They do make tools to support the engine while you do this. The tool would be much safer, but this does work. I have a bolt in there to keep this strap from sliding, and I put a piece of wood there to keep it from going forward, and this strap to try to keep it held down. It works, but if it would jump off this lip, the engine would fall down, and there's only one mount holding it. Could possibly break and fall on you and hurt you. Not a lot of damage should be done, if nothing else. But I got it in there. This right there is how you have to refill it. There's a little bolt. Take the bolt out and then pull the piece there with the hose. That pulls up, and that's where you fill it at. The one I took out of here was a little bit different. It did not have this hose and line system. It just had a metal plug in there. So you put a socket in, broke it loose, and that's where you fill it at. This in here is a little bit different. But if you've seen this, see how to take it apart, you should know how to put it back together. Hopefully the video helped.